afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Simon Moss, and I want to talk to you about something a little bit different. I want to talk to you about the potential for AI to do good in the world, and I want to start with a question. When was the last time you felt angry, like really angry, or sad, or surprised, or confused, or thrilled, or whatever that love heart emoji thing means, because of something you read in the news, or because of something that you heard happen in your community? So often when we see things that are happening in the news, we feel helpless to respond. We talk about it with our friends, and we say, I wish there's something I could do. Well, at Global Citizen, we're thrilled to be starting a program with IP Soft in the coming weeks where we're going to be starting to try and tackle exactly some of this question. And for me, there's no better example than thinking the last time that the news made me cry. It was on seeing a young Malian man climb 4 stories worth of balconies in order to rescue a small child dangling from the edge of a balcony. It's something that could have just passed us by in the news, but it made me, as someone with a 1-year-old son, go, God, imagine if that was my kid. Or imagine if I was walking down Broadway and saw something like that happen. How is it that we can grab the same focus and attention that we can grab in the news media or when we see something real happen in our lives and make that happen for people everywhere who are wanting to do good? Because at Global Citizen, we know that there are huge challenges in the world. Our mission is about ending extreme poverty by 2030. We know there's huge challenges. We know there's huge opportunity and progress. And we know that the UN has given us these fantastic 17 goals for sustainable development, a pathway to be able to do some amazing things the next 13 years. But right now, what we see is citizens who say to us, I'd love to do something, but I just don't think it'll make a difference. I'm overwhelmed by how much there is in the world, and if another bloody charity asks me for money on the street, I'm going to scream. And so what we want to ask at Global Citizen is a really simple question. How can AI help us declutter what are more than a dozen goals? How can AI help us cut through the opportunities that we know exist? And how can we make sure that people feel equipped to take action in their own lives? For us at Global Citizen, that's a story that we've had so much experience on because we started doing this 15 years ago. We bring pop and policy together. We mobilize thousands, millions of young people around the world to take action on issues. We get them out on the streets, we get them door knocking, we get them canvassing, we get them talking to people, we get them working in their schools. The campaigns we've been involved in have helped shift presidents and prime ministers. The image you see here is a stunt we ran 10 years ago in Australia, and we know that when we mobilize thousands of people, governments respond. One of the first victories we had was getting Kevin Rudd, the then Australian Prime Minister, to double the amount of foreign aid Australia gave. And I want to show you a quick video now that gives you an insight into what that looks like when we at Global Citizen get it right, so you can get a sense of what more we could do if we're able to find scale with the promise of artificial intelligence.
Every year at this time, the world comes to New York City, and this concert is all about giving back to the world.
What is Global Citizen? Global Citizen is actually a digital platform. You go to globalcitizen.org and you start taking action in support of issues that you care about. You can take action on some of the greatest global challenges of our time, and all of these actions earn you points, and you can use these points to actually enter the Global Citizen Festival for free.
I signed a lot of petitions, emailed a lot of world leaders.
To actually speak to my senator who I've never spoken to before, I mean, that was really cool.
This is the only festival that you can get into only by doing service, only by being a better person. So to see this crowd of thousands, tens of thousands of people who all got here by taking action is so inspiring.
We need you to tweet Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi.
We're sending tweets to Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg. And if they agree to increase their support for the Global Partnership for Education, the rest of the world will follow.
Norway has committed 250 million US dollars for next year.
Education is a basic human right.
These are our girls. They deserve the same chances to get an education as my daughters and your daughters and all of our children.
I look out and I see a sea of global citizens. We can change the world.
So we know this model works, but we also know that people feel lost. They feel about as lost as when you get off a plane, you get out of a taxi and you step into a new city. For those of us who've traveled a lot for work, 10 years ago when this happened, you'd need to try and work out, how do you even get a taxi? Who do you talk to? Is it the hotel concierge? Is it people you meet on the street? How do you find out where to eat, what to do, what bars are good? Is there some way you can take your family? These are questions that we've come up with great solutions to as a big, broad community. Yelp exists, smartphones, Google Maps, Uber, Lyft. There are all these apps and tools right now that help you solve how to get to a new city and be as disorganized as I am most days. But there's nothing that can help you navigate these big news stories we see in the media every day. There's nothing that can really help us easily cut through all the clutter and go, this is what I care about, how do I make things move? For our audience, college students like these ones, they're trying to find their place in the world. They've got lots of questions, they have no money, but they have time. And they want to know what they can do that would make a difference. They're high school kids, like this group of girls I met in Calabasas in California. For them, living in the Hollywood Hills felt like it was a bit of a prison. The world looked at them and their neighbors are the Kardashians, and they said, what is it that I can do to make the world better? But through conversations that we have, normally by going and talking to a room full of people, we can change that. But we can only do that 1-to-1, 100-to-1. How do we use AI as a tool to go so much further? What we have at Global Citizen are a whole lot of tools to answer a couple of very simple questions. Can the world change? If I think the world can change, then I might want to do something about the world myself. We know that right now, if we just read the newspapers, it feels like the world changes for the worse, but not for the better. But actually, there has never been a better time to be alive. Kids are living longer. More people can go to school. There are fewer people in poverty. There are more rights for groups who've been traditionally disadvantaged than ever before. So if we can give people the tools to find the inspiration for things that they care about, that's a start. Secondly, how do we give people the tools to see what they can personally do? What can I do? Because if I sign a petition, I don't know what happens next. If I volunteer at a soup kitchen, I feel great, but I see the same homeless person on the block the next day. And so we know that if we can help answer the question, can I change it? And ultimately, do I want to change it? That's how we drive these millions and millions of actions, billions of dollars of commitments, and ultimately a much stronger community. So the question that we're trying to tackle is, how do we take all of the lessons that everyone's learned about how to get people excited and inspired in the traditional ways that everyone uses? TV, the internet, influencers, great stories. And how do we turn what is a pretty traditional experience on Global Citizen's website, or pretty much any well-meaning do-gooder organization out there, into something incredibly powerful? Because I'm never going to be able through a traditional website, help someone discover what it is that they care about if there are thousands and thousands of articles and videos, hundreds and hundreds of things I could do, and tens of thousands of people who I could link up with and be rewarded to and find community with. That's too difficult. And so what we're going to be using AI for, in partnership with the team at IPsoft, is to help people discover. Help them discover, if you will, what their personal journey is. So instead of just taking a customer service approach to saying, how can I help you fix a problem you've got today? How can we take an approach that says, how can I help you discover something new and exciting that you'd love to do more on today? How can I help you find the thing that you'd like to take action on? How can I help you find the right organization, the right issue, the right cause, and ultimately, the right way for you to make a big difference in the world? So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, I want to pose just one final question. How do we take the individual discussions that we have with young women like this, Davinia, who was 23 years old when we met her and said, I want to help kids in other countries, but I don't have any money. We brainstormed with her, she came up with an idea, she's been collecting pennies. She's collected tens of thousands of dollars worth of pennies. She's built 2 schools in Haiti, and she was so moved by the experience that she even built part of her campaigning into the way that she ran her own wedding. This all started because of one conversation where Davinia was able to discover how she wanted to do good in the world. I can't have every discussion. You can't have every discussion about the issue that you're passionate about. But we think that in partnership with IPsoft, as well as with much of the technology community, we can find new ways to give tens and hundreds of thousands of people a starting point through AI to help them discover what they want to come next. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're inspired to think about how AI can do good in your world and that you enjoy your lunch very soon. Thank you.